All right, you guys, it is August 4th already, and it is what, Tuesday. So I wanted to show you guys some of the activity that I had on my property. This is where the crows pooed when I had went away and they got mad, so they pooped on the garage door. Right here is where I keep the food. So I was coming in over here and I pulled in, and right here I had my first dogman sighting. He was standing right here looking at the garage door. He probably, the top of his head came up to the top of the door, so I'd say maybe 7-8 feet tall, and he was jet black, and he was lanky, and he was skinny, and there was no gray color on his coat at all, and there was also no tail. And he was just standing here like this, looking at the garage door. So I don't know if he smelled the sunflowers and the peanuts that I keep in there, or what exactly he was doing. But by the time I got into the garage, drove my car in, opened this door, he was gone. So that's how quick they move, and that was exciting because that was my first physical sighting of a dogman that I had. And he wasn't even touching anything. He was just looking. So I don't know if he was deciding, should I open that door and help myself to some peanuts, or what he was doing. Which I leave, that would have been okay for him. I would have had no problems with that. So this is what I've been doing. I put this fence up, and then I put this fence up. I have that one little piece I have to cut still. It's just kind of leaning up there. And then I used concrete stain on these. Look like that. And then they turned into that. And then the hot tub is going to go right over here. So Sunday it was rainy, so I wasn't able to get out there and do much. But I've had a few things that I've had happen around here, and I thought I would clue you guys in. And one of these things is this, which happened last night, because this was not here yesterday. And I think that's a piece of bark, but I'm not sure. But it was just sitting on the table like that. I just went out to dinner for my granddaughter's birthday dinner, which we do annually, and I came home and I noticed this. And then these right here are what they throw at my house. And I'll try to pitch one so you guys can hear the noise. Oh, just banged my head on the planter. So this is me just lightly tossing. Can you hear that? I'll do it again. So that is every night around between 9 and 10, sometimes 10:30. So that is what they usually throw at my house. They could have thrown this piece of bark and it could have fallen there, or they could have placed it there. I'm not sure. And hold, please. Okay, so I'll have to loop these two videos together because I thought I could turn the camera around without stopping it, but I cannot. So the other thing that happened is I'm clearing, now that I found out that I own more wooded property than I thought I did, I'm doing the perimeter trails around there. So I did the one perimeter trail, and there is a few tree bottom sticking up that I'm trying to get rid of. I got rid of most of them. But I found a spring out in the one path, and it was like this big. It was a big metal spring. So I dug that out and I threw it to my left into the wooded area off of the path. And I went about clearing, the rest of the path to the end of my property. I come back, and this spring that I had thrown in the woods is sitting by one of the saplings, which was maybe like this big around, maybe a little smaller, maybe like that big. And I had left it stuck up about this big out of the ground where I cut, because I couldn't cut any deeper because I had my clippers. So the spring was sitting right next to one of those small saplings that I had cut down that was sticking up about this big. So I thought that was interesting, because I know the last groundspeak video I did, I was asking you guys if anybody knew what the groundspeak meant. And what it turned out to be was the little one, Olaf, had stepped into a hole and he had hurt his ankle, his foot. So he could not travel physically the way he wanted to. And when they hunt for their food, they are in the physical. They are not cloaked. They are in the physical, is what I have been told by them. So he was not wanting to travel wherever he needed to go and get his food. So he was asking for water, and I have that water feature out in that side courtyard, and I had not filled it up yet at that time, and he was asking for that to be filled also. And with him being as dramatic, he's a little guy and he's spunky and he's sassy, and that comes with drama. And he's very dramatic, and one of the groundspeak symbols was dire situation, pain, please help. And then the other one was asking for any food that I could spare. So, of course, I only feed on the holidays. But after researching that groundspeak and figuring out what it meant, of course I took food out there. I can't even remember what I took because it's been a little minute, but I took whatever that I had out there and I put it at the gifting table and I gave it to him because he asked, and he asked nicely, and he was injured. So basically anything that little guy wants, he's probably gonna get from me because, I spoil him. So of course I gave him whatever I had in there that I scrounged out of cupboards and out of the fridge. I didn't pull anything out of the freezer, and I got it together and I took it out at the table and I left it for him, and the next day it was all gone. Every single last bit of it was all gone, and the water in the bucket that I left out there has not been touched. But the water feature is emptied every night. In fact, I gotta go out there and fill it up tonight. It's always emptied. And I always see deer tracks out there, so I know that the deer are drinking out of there for 100% positive because I see their tracks in the mulch. So I'm hoping that they're letting the Bigfoot get some water out of there also, because it's mainly for them, but I don't care who. Just like when I feed the birds every day. I don't care who gets it, as long as somebody's eating it, it's fine. Whether it's crows, whether it's regular birds, I do the black sunflower seeds, and then I do the peanuts over here on the side yard, and I do the black sunflower seeds back by the one garden, and both of them are always empty every night when I come home, or every night when I come home and I fill them up, they're always empty. So I always give a cup full of peanuts about this big, and I have a stump over there that I put it on, and then I have a kind of a bird feeder hanging on one of the trees out there in one of the gardens that I have, and I fill that up with, I have a jar about this big, and I fill that up with the black sunflower seeds. So, and every day it's always gone. And like I said, the one time when I left for like 4 or 5 days, I didn't put any extra out there, and I guess, you know, lesson learned, I won't do that again. And when I leave on the weekends, I always leave extra out there for them so that they can be fed. And I've been doing this for over a year now, every day, regardless, unless I'm not home. Then I don't do it, obviously, but I do it when I come home. And yes, they do, I don't know what kind of birds they are, but some kind of birds are out there, and they recognize my car, because as soon as I pull in the driveway, they start chirping, and I'll chirp back and forth with them, and they answer me. So it's interesting. I might try a little bit of dog food out there and see if the crows would like that too. So that, I'm trying to think what else happened around here. I think that is basically it, but the activity, oh, there was chatter the other night, and I had coyotes a little bit too close to the house. They were right up back, and yesterday I went out to take care of those extra little saplings that were sticking up, and I had to leave out of there because I don't know how many coyotes they were, but they were out there and they were barking, and it was like 8:30 at night. It wasn't even dark yet, and they were out there causing a ruckus, and they were a little too close to me. I could hear them rustling around, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I don't know how many coyotes are there, so I just stopped and came back in the house. But I wish the coyotes would go somewhere else so I can finish doing what I need to do back there. So that has been what is, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I do not know what it is. But the activity has been very sweet and very ramped up. I hope you guys are having a great Tuesday, and August is begun, and I'm sure it will go just as quick as July did, because it seems to have flown by very quickly. So you guys have a great Tuesday, and we will talk to you soon. Okay, I remembered the other thing that happened, and I'm not going to get my tripod back out, so I'm just going to hold the phone, and this is how we're going to do this. I'll try to put the photo in this last video so that you can see, but I was gifted a little basket, and I keep like the outdoorsy things that they leave me in there, some of them. And there was a skull that they had given me, and they had given me one deer antler that I found out by the deer feeder. Well, the skull disappeared, and that was taken, and then a little bit later the antler was taken, and that disappeared. So that was the other thing that happened, is both the skull and the antler disappeared out of that basket. So they were, it was like a muskrat skull. I'm not sure exactly what kind of skull, but it was a pretty good sized skull. So I don't think an animal could carry it off, but they might have. But my camera would have caught that if some kind of something had gone back there, because the basket is right by the garage door. So that would have activated my camera. And as we all know, the Bigfoot can affect your camera to where they can't be seen when they want to. So that seems like the only explanation, because of the fact that my back camera wasn't activated, and that basket is directly right next to the garage door, so it's in plain view of that camera, and it would have been activated. So that was the other thing. I knew there was something else that was happened around here that I wanted to tell you guys about. So I don't know if he thought that I didn't want the skull, or he changed his mind and he wanted the skull and the antler back because I didn't bring it in the house and I left it in the basket. I'm not sure what he thought, but they are both gone. So, all right, you guys, have a great evening.